All right, from there, the U.S. men's national soccer team's World Cup run, it ended earlier this week. And now there has been a growing debate. It's gaining momentum. Some commentators, they say America's pay-to-play youth sports system is keeping talented kids from ever reaching the highest levels. Now, that conversation goes far beyond soccer. Steve Iwanek, he has spent the last couple of days looking at whether the rising cost of youth or travel sports is creating barriers for families right here in Northwest Ohio. And Steve, do the people you had a chance to talk to agree with that?
Well, Jeff, whether you think the cost of youth sports is hurting America's chances on the world stage or not, the people I spoke with agreed on one thing. For many families, it's becoming more expensive than ever just to give their kids a chance to compete. Maybe it's a weekend tournament or just a few ball games, but for many families, it's another hit to the budget.
We hear from families mostly that it's not the fees so much, it's the travel costs, which unfortunately, we can't control with flights or hotels or gas.
Jessica Hall leads the nonprofit Toledo Volleyball Club and recognizes the added expense. She says they try to offset that.
We always talk with families one-on-one, and we try to come up with a plan that is doable for their children to play club volleyball here.
The Aspen Institute's Project Play survey found families now spend just over $1,000 a year on a child's primary sport, up 46% since 2019. One family in Sylvania even telling me they pay roughly $7,000 for their 3 boys to play 3 travel sports. And that doesn't include the uniforms or the hotels.
Everybody wants to be national, or everybody wants to represent the region. Now the clubs, they want to go to California, Arizona.
Former Perrysburg girls soccer head coach and club coach Jorge Diaz says that's where the bigger concern begins. He says as the cost of competing goes up, the pool of kids who can afford those opportunities shrinks.
If you have the resources, of course, you're going to have all the opportunities available to you. But somebody like you mentioned in a inner city, that they might not have the resources, but they feel that they have to go and do something else.
And it's not just Diaz saying it. A handful of national commentators flooded social media with the same argument. So, do kids still need club sports to be seen? The answer depends on who you ask and what their dream is.
You have to play club volleyball to get recruited because colleges' seasons are the same time as high school.
If your goals are to make it to the varsity in high school, yes, the clubs are going to provide that. But if your goal is to be the national player of the year and all the other stuff, we're far behind.
Now, for those who may be thinking, what is my actual return on investment? Well, Hall says in her case with Toledo Volleyball Club, they've had more than 300 athletes go on to play at the collegiate level, which she says is why many families continue to see value in club sports despite the rising costs. In studio, Steve Iwanek, WTOL 11.